the cage.
In the exciting opener of Cage 56, the Kurdistan-born Finn, Hama Dara, locks horns with the Afghanistan-born Swede, Safi Husseini. This last-minute replacement matchup promises to be all action, as Dara's sniper-like kicking game is measured against Husseini's explosive boxing skills. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go! Hama Dara versus Safi Husseini.
To the blue corner, Safi Husseini.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Cage 56, live from Finland's glittering capital of Helsinki. We've got 6 remarkable pro bouts for you this evening. I'm your host, Steve Stewart, joined by the one and only Sebastian Vendel Martinez here at the House of Culture. Sebastian, how about these fights, huh?
Oh, well, you know, they say anything can happen in MMA, and that really is true, even when it comes to the matchmaking, the fights themselves, as we're actually awaiting a replacement fight, but in my opinion, could easily have been put out from the start, because this is a great matchup between 2 exciting prospects. Here we have Sweden's and Västerås Fight Club's Safi Husseini. He made his pro debut in February of this year with a vicious 11-second knockout, which was a fantastic way to sort of announce your presence to the pro leagues. And since then, he might have come up short, but he has shown a lot of potential.
Yeah, Safi Husseini is here, and he has made his way to the cage. He's a solid boxer. He's got knockout power in both of those hands, and he's coming to swing and bang, as it were.
Absolutely, and evil-eyed viewers might recognize Alexander Löf, who we've seen compete at Cage before. He is a friend and close teammate of Safi Husseini's. And when Löf was asked about Husseini recently, he said, Safi is one of the hardest workers at Västerås Fight Club, which is definitely saying something.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a hard-nosed team. And I mean, I think that's quite apparent in his fighting style. He's tough as nails. There's no quit in the guy. Great forward pressure, good distance control. This is going to be an exciting fight.
One could make the argument he's too tough and exciting for his own good even. There have been times where perhaps he could have opted for something other than striking.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and he does have that good grappling background and, you know, incredible pressure against the cage when he decides to use it.
To the red corner, Hama Dara.
Hama Dara making his way to the cage now. The Kurdistan-born Finn looking to taste his first victory as a professional here tonight at Cage 56. He will be the taller fighter this evening, which is interesting to see. And, you know, he's got a long martial arts history, even though he's so young. Solid takedowns and trips. This is going to be an interesting matchup, considering that he also has those sniper-like kicks. Rangy, fast kicker, great with scrambles and trips. This is going to be a very, very interesting matchup.
Oh, absolutely. I think those kicks in particular, they might very well be Hama Dara's best weapon. He is very, very skilled. He goes so quickly with those kicks. He switches stance, throws a high kick. I think at times his right high kick can just be, you know, as quick as a jab. So it might very well be a battle between speed and power. Because as you mentioned before, Steve, Safi Husseini, tough as nails. He has no problem with eating a couple shots and just plodding forward like Jason Voorhees.
Absolutely, always willing to exchange. Hama Dara does seem to have a bit of a height advantage.
Definitely the taller fighter here, which will aid him when he throws those kicks. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape and see how they stack up. Yeah, a noticeable height and reach advantage resides in Hama Dara. I mean, how about that? 186 versus 168 centimeters. That is insane. Let's see if he manages to utilize that, because it's obviously having reach is one thing, using it successfully is another.
Yeah, I think Hama Dara, though, with his strong kicking game, I think maybe he'll use it.
Tämän otteluillan lääkäripalvelut tarjoaa Lääkärikeskus Phoenix, urheilu- ja kamppailuvammojen parhaat asiantuntijat. Lääkäreinä Karl Lübeck sekä Krister Lübeck. In the blue corner, fighter with a professional record of 1 win and 2 losses, weighing 62.8 kilos, from Sweden, Safi Husseini! In the red corner, fighter with a professional record of 1 loss, weighing 63 kilos, representing Finn Fighters Gym from Turku, Finland, Hama Dara!
Finland versus Sweden matchup here tonight.
Classic combination, not just in cage, but in combat sports, ice hockey, and beyond.
Absolutely.
There's definitely mutual respect between these two, but I mean, the tension can be cut with a knife here. I mean, look at that stare of Hama Dara.
Safi seems unfazed, though. Absolutely unfazed. There's a lot of intensity, though, from Hama Dara. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, Safi was saying he's been there and he's seen some stuff, you know, through his tough life. So there is a reason that he seems pretty unfazed. And if he looks cool, then that could perhaps be a testament to him working as a refrigerator technician. So no problem keeping his cool.
I'm sure it translates.
So Safi Husseini in the blue, Hama Dara in the red.
Hama Dara already pressing forward, backing Safi up against the cage, hunting for a big right hand, and he eats one.
And you know, on paper, Dara, nice leg kick there. Fails his opponent, but only momentarily. Here's a takedown attempt from Husseini. He's got to be mindful about guillotine, because when you're facing a taller fighter, that is always a threat.
Yeah, a lot of length, and that obviously makes it easier to get that arm around the neck and crank. But Husseini, no slouch when it comes to wrestling, has very, very good grappling. And when it comes to pressure against the cage, Husseini knows his stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Husseini is actually a 2021 Swedish national gold medalist in wrestling.
There goes
a silver medalist 2022.
There goes that trip attempt. I would not be surprised if we see another one of those here shortly. Yep. Hama Dara looking to try and perhaps take the back. But Husseini's got a hold of that head and that arm, keeping him in position very wisely.
It's not the most ideal or standing grappling position, so Hama Dara could very well end up taking a back. Warning for inactivity there from the referee.
Yeah, right here, if I'm Husseini, granted I'm no expert, but I'm going to try and swim that right arm underneath so that,
that might have been a little bit of a tactical error there by Husseini. It seemed like he was trying to go for a bit of a trip takedown, ends up on the bottom instead. And as soon as his grip is broken, then he's basically grounded with his opponent on top.
Yeah, if Hama Dara is able to sneak that head out, he's going to have his back here. And that's not a place where you'd like to be this early and dry. Specifically not once that other hook gets in for Hama Dara, and it's in.
Oh, nice work there from Hama Dara. This striker's got some grappling, that's for sure. And a body triangle now as well, but look
that
at
head
this.
is still in an awkward position. He's got that head and arm, you know, holding on to that almost playground-style headlock.
So Safi Husseini, he's doing the right thing here. He's standing up. He's gonna start kind of shaking and trying to scoot his opponent off from under him, or from on top of him, rather.
Yeah, nothing doing though. That body triangle is a tough one. He's got to break that if he wants any shot at potentially getting out here, or flip around, you know, be able to turn into the guard of Hama Dara.
So for that body triangle from Hama Dara, definitely keeping his opponent in place. It's going to be easier said than done. And another warning for activity there from the referee as we are just under 2 minutes left here to go. But Dara seems willing to be playing the role of backpack here in this first round.
Yeah, absolutely. Squeezing the guts there of Husseini with that body triangle. And looking, hunting for that choke. Husseini doing a good job of covering up, anticipating these shots coming in. But this is not winning you any points.
No, absolutely. I mean, he's doing a good job at neutral, or at least, you know, lessening the damage coming his way. But this is definitely not a position you want to be in. I mean, we know that Hama Dara has some slick rear naked chokes. He's proven it, as he did at Cage 51 against Yuna Little Hulk rather, with a first round rear naked choke. So Hama Dara, I mean, he might be a very skilled striker, but he's definitely got some slick submissions as well.
Notably, though, looking to have his first taste of victory here tonight. And, I mean, if the rest of this fight goes this way, I think there's a very good chance of that. Finally, that body lock has been broken. Body triangle there.
And Husseini not with a whole lot of time left to work, but he might. Okay, he was a little bit slow on the draw there. Let's see what happens from the scramble.
10 seconds left. Hama Dara keeps him pressured to the cage for the remainder of the round.
Okay, interesting first round there. We saw a whole lot of control from Finland's Hama Dara. I mean, he had that body triangle locked in for, I'd say, 2 minutes or more at the very least. Take a look at some of that action. That was a fantastic leg kick. It basically started off a grappling situation, more or less.
Yeah, it did, which is interesting because Hama Dara ended up being the aggressor in most of those positions on the ground. And I have to say that Husseini, to me, looks like the fresher fighter here. It looks to me as if Hama Dara is perhaps having a cramp squeezed out of his leg or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good point, Steve. And that's the thing, you've got to be careful with some of those positions, even body triangles. If you're really squeezing to hold it in place, you are going to burn your legs out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you're essentially doing a calf slicer on your own leg a little bit too.
Yeah, and when one of your best weapons is your kicks, you maybe want to save a little bit of the juice for those.
Yeah, he didn't always have 100% the ankle behind the knee, so you can end up maybe doing a little damage to that calf of your own. That being said, Hama Dara appears pretty fresh right now. Starts pressuring forward. I think Husseini's having a little bit of trouble actually reaching Hama Dara.
That's a nice inside leg kick there from Husseini. But yeah, as we mentioned in the tail of the tape, a noticeable height and reach advantage for Hama Dara. So it is going to be harder for Husseini to find his target. Nice job there from Hama Dara. Sort of ducked away and then hit the counter. Oh, that was a nice uppercut there that he landed.
Yeah, very just winging punches here from Husseini. But those inside leg kicks, they were doing the trick. Now a takedown for Hama Dara, and Husseini's looking to potentially lock up a guillotine here. I can't see if his hands are cleanly locked under the chin, but he's going to want to be able to elevate himself over the top of Hama Dara's back in order to achieve that if he wants it. I don't think that's going to happen.
It looks like he was for a moment it looked like he was maybe going to try and go for a butterfly sweep, but doesn't really seem to have it now.
Now he's getting up over that back, potentially putting Hama Dara in a bit more danger. We'll see. Nope, nothing doing.
It's also a lot harder when you've got the cage up against you. That makes it a lot harder to be able to sort of stretch out the way you would need to lock down most submissions. The cage can be an ally, but it can also be an enemy.
Dara now has Husseini's back once again.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like a repeat of a lot of what we saw there in that first round.
Yeah, let's see if, oh, that was a pretty hard shot, actually. Let's see if there's some meaningful offense to be had here. Husseini's having to wear that weight, though, and that's a very, very big, you know, burden when you are the smaller man.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they look like they're from two different weight divisions, really. And once again, Dara, you know, not giving his opponent a centimeter to work with.
It's a very tight control here.
And you can see here Safi Husseini trying to break for grip. He did momentarily.
Dara got those hands locked again, it appears. Elbowing the thigh, or excuse me, kneeing the thigh of Husseini. And once again, grapevines that leg.
And interesting that Husseini had the opportunity. He broke for grip and was trying to spin around, turn into his opponent, but just couldn't really get the force he needed.
Now, however, he's able to toss him and wind up in a more advantageous position where he's raining down a few punches. Let's see if he's able to keep that. Doesn't
Much
look like
better for Husseini now, at least. I mean, this is a bit of a 50-50 position up against the cage, kind of, but you know, he is still the one that's landing the shots.
That's true.
And Dara made his pro debut in October of this year. He lost that via TKO, and if I were honestly, he did very well on the feet, but ended up having a couple weaknesses on the ground exposed. He definitely seems to have sort of filled in those holes that he showed there in his pro debut.
Yeah, he's done very well on the ground tonight, but he has been tossed on his head a couple of times there.
Now, I gotta say, I'm a little bit surprised how tenacious he is here with the grappling. I would have expected him to try and use that reach to basically pick his opponent apart on the feet.
Yeah, he's got excellent kicks, so I'm surprised we haven't seen much of that, actually. Specifically being the longer rangier fighter. But now, Husseini seems to be making up for some earlier lost ground.
Dara on that single, but a great sprawl defensive position there from Safi Husseini.
Yeah, this is where his wrestling background really, really matters, is as Husseini begins to tire a little bit, I think. Yeah, now he's in top position. He's going to start raining down shots.
And as we mentioned, 2021 Swedish national gold medalist in wrestling, Safi Husseini, and he's really proving his wrestling background here. It's you know, it's almost been a bit of a critique towards him that he doesn't use his wrestling enough. He's actually said that he doesn't like wrestling as much in MMA because he feels that it's boring. But honestly, this is anything but. Oh, heavy ground and pound here from Husseini.
Yeah, wrestling can be exciting, and he's showing us that here tonight by mixing in that ground and pound.
And he really, you could see the wind-up on that final ground strike. He really wanted to give it his all. An interesting turn of events here. I wonder if perhaps Dara regrets, you know, not letting up with some of that grappling and not disengaging earlier.
Yeah, I think he might, you know, because taking a look at Dara and his composure on the stool, I believe he might be a little tired here.
Yeah, I would think that he might want to try and, you know, use his kicks a little bit more, because so far we haven't really seen a whole lot of sort of shots from Husseini. Sure, he's had some advantageous grappling positions and some wrestling positions, but that's really, it's mostly been Dara that's initiated those exchanges.
Right, on the feet, it's mostly been, you know, the inside leg kick of Husseini that has kind of found its mark. You know, I have to give props, though, to Dara. The way he seems to, you know, in that 1 minute in between rounds, the way he seems to kind of regain his composure and his wind is very, very impressive.
Well, he has his good friend and teammate Hanan Husseini in his corner. They're very close, and I have no doubts that Husseini is great at hyping up his friend. Oh, there is a shot from Husseini.
Yeah, and he's got him. He's got the hips, controlling the hips now. Let's see if he's able to pull him away from the cage and kind of get him to the center and uncork more of that ground and pound. Nope. Scramble initiated from Hama Dara.
For Husseini, you couldn't have asked for a better start to a final round. I mean,
oh, that right hand looked to have landed, but he's in danger here. This is a dangerous position.
Absolutely, a potential triangle there from the bottom. Husseini wants to break through. Yeah, there he does.
Stacks the legs. Looks to potentially pass to one side or the other. That arm could be in potential danger here. Oh, and then
he might look to throw Hama Dara's left leg to the side and then go advance to side control. Oh,
he's looking to throw whichever leg he can, yeah. But very, very tenacious in his attempt to pass here, which is very necessary, I think. He had a good round two in that last bit.
And now he's in side control as well. Much better position here for Husseini. He's going to advance to mount. Oh no, but back to guard here. Nice adjustment there from Dara, throwing his legs up, preventing that pass to full mount.
Yeah, but you can do a lot of damage from half guard like this, from that top position. And I feel like Husseini, he kind of tasted that he has the power to do something spectacular there.
Yeah, I think he might want to posture up, and he seems to be someone who focuses more on quality as opposed to quantity when it comes to ground and pound. He wants to make sure that his shots count.
Referee has had it. He stands him up.
Less than 3 minutes to go here in our final round. Oh, big swing and a miss with that uppercut. I mean, it was the right idea, but he was telegraphing it was Hama Dara. Husseini could see it coming, and he made the perfect adjustment. There's a takedown.
Yeah, let's see if he's able to get in on the hips, pull him away from the cage, and perhaps move to a more advantageous position and land some of that ground and pound. 2.5 minutes now in this third and final round.
And Husseini's corner asking for ground strikes. I'm inclined to agree. I mean, I feel like he has the control pretty locked down.
Now inside control, he's between him and the cage. This is definitely a better position than he was in earlier in the fight.
He might be trying to go for an arm triangle. No.
Oh, it was there. It was definitely there. I think he feels that now, but he's on the wrong side.
He might connect it, though, and then pass over. He's got that arm triangle connection now. He needs to get his head under Hama Dara's left arm and then step over towards that side.
Regardless, being in the top position, definitely what you want. What I would be wanting to see here, if I were Husseini's corner, is perhaps a bit more active ground and pound.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I do think, it would serve him well to be a little bit more active from the top. I mean, not just in scoring points, but it would do good things in keeping his opponent grounded as well.
Easier said than done, though, when Hama Dara is obviously throwing up those submission attempts here and there. It looked like perhaps he was thinking about an omoplata at one point. Husseini, though, applying that pressure. Excuse me, sorry about that.
No worries. No, you're completely correct, Stevie. Applying good pressure. It's just, I would like to see a little bit more ground and pound to really solidify this ground position for him.
Yeah, positional dominance for sure, but not a whole lot of damage done. Oh, a lot of interesting scrambles, though, here. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, Hama Dara, he's utilizing those long limbs of his in a very, very good way. He was almost close to getting a reversal there. It's just, Mike did not have enough gas in the tank for it.
Just small adjustments as well from Husseini. This is a dangerous spot. This is a very dangerous spot, but not a lot of time to work. And it looks like there will be nothing doing for Hama Dara.
Okay,
very interesting matchup.
3 rounds in the books, and nothing but respect afterwards. I mean, despite a drastically, two drastically different styles, I feel there are some similarities between these two.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that one of the kind of elements here is that they're both really good grapplers. Like, that is an area where they share a great deal of DNA, and I don't think that that's necessarily, what either of them is, looking to display initially in the fight. I think, as you mentioned, Husseini wants to keep fights standing. He wants to, actually be able to go in there and put on an exciting show. It just so happens that that's a very, very dangerous prospect. Yeah. And Hama Dara, was looking to potentially put him on the mat. But good back and forth here. Yeah. Let's take a look at the replay. Those are the submission attempts that we were talking about. A couple of potential triangles, or leaning maybe more towards an omoplata, but definitely being dangerous with those long and lanky legs.
Yeah, I mean, he was presenting with danger, but I mean, the submission attempts per se were not really close to being completed.
No.
And I'm sure the judges realize that. So
just giving him something to think about is enough.
Yeah.
And that's interesting though, because I do feel like Husseini maybe pulled it away in that latter part of the fight.
Yeah, I mean, he had a very good second round for sure, and definitely a positionally dominant third round, just lacking some of the damage perhaps. That could still be enough.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Positionally dominant. And I think that that's kind of the difference when neither fighter really did a whole lot of damage to the other.
And it seems the judges' scorecards have been collected. Let's hear it with the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 full rounds, we have a split decision. Judge 1 scored the fight 28-29 Husseini. The second judge scored the fight 29-28 Dara. And the third judge 28-29, and winner by split decision, Safi Husseini!
There you have it. Winner via split decision. Sweden's Safi Husseini returns to the win column with a hard-fought decision against Hama Dara.
Yeah, definitely a difficult matchup, but you know what? A lot of respect, it seems, from both fighters here. And now we'll go to Veli-Matti for the interview.
Safi, congratulations, that was a great victory. What do you think about tonight's fight?
At the first, I want to say thank you for my family, thank you for my team, coach, Ambari, Alexander Love, my big brother. Thank you, Västerås. Thank you, Sweden, Finland.
Safi Husseini, congratulations.
Thank you, Finland.
Bit of a slip there.
See you soon, guys. Next time.
Given for mixing a couple things up.
Look, we're next door neighbors after all,
Yeah.
So, but it really interesting and fun Finnish-Swedish matchup here tonight between these two fighters, Hama Dara and Safi Husseini. That was an excellent display of grappling. There were a lot of real fun exchanges there. A lot of interesting reversals. Very, very exciting fight on the ground.
And honestly, I feel both fighters really can learn a lot from and improve from. I mean, even Hama Dara in defeat, I think that he could really learn a lot of things from this and become a much better fighter once he returns.
Yeah, absolutely.
You are about to experience the cage.